Hello and welcome to Telegraph Studio. I'm ALASTAIR and today we're discussing green solutions and how they can be achieved using the smart grid. And joining us is Nando Ochoa and Pierluigi Mancarella from the University of Manchester. Good morning.
Good morning.
Now, we all know that there's going to be unprecedented demand for electricity, but we also need green solutions. So are we going to be able to upscale supply fast enough?
Well, in short, yes, of course we can. But the question is, how much will it cost? So if we look at the current system, the energy system, our demand for electricity, heat and transport is supplied from fossil fuels. Now, we can make electricity cleaner by using renewables. And then we can use this clean electricity to also supply heat and transport through heat pumps or electric cars. But in order to do this, we need a bigger and bigger electricity infrastructure. So we will need also unprecedented investment to achieve that. So back to your question, of course we can, but how much will it cost? We're not really sure.
So it all sounds a little bit doom and gloom, doesn't it? The fact that the costs are unknown. So how can we actually achieve this?
Well, that's a great question. Well, first of all, we need to make the most of our current electricity infrastructure. So we need to make it more intelligent. We need to apply more control. This is known as smart grids. And actually, once we have this, we will be able to defer that investment and make the whole thing much more cost effective.
So you're talking there a lot about theories and things, but can you give us a case study that maybe has some numbers in it so we can understand it?
Well, I can give you some figures. We have carried out extensive studies in areas with dozens of houses to thousands of houses. And all our findings really demonstrate that we can actually push more renewables or more electric vehicles and more low carbon technologies from 20 to even 40%. And this is fantastic news because we can actually have much more with the same infrastructure.
So how would this solution actually come to life? What are the steps we need to take to make this process available that we can actually use it?
I would think that the very first step is to understand that this is well beyond the technical aspects, because there will be, and there will need to be, major commercial and socio-economic changes. So for instance, think at our homes. We will generate more and more electricity locally. So now we're just consumers. In the future, we'll also become producers.
Okay, so how do consumers become producers?
Well, again, if you look at how things work today, you just buy electricity, right? But in the future, you have photovoltaic panel on your rooftop, maybe some battery to store this electricity. So you won't be just a consumer, you'll also be a producer.
Tell us a little bit about yourselves. Where do you fit into all of this?
Where do I fit? I think the first thing that we aim at understanding with our research is what this smart grid of the future will look like. So, for instance, how will the electricity infrastructure, the new electricity infrastructure, interact with the heating sector, the gas sector, the transport sector, consumers and producers?
The thing is that those interactions create a massive complexity with the electricity infrastructure. So this is a big challenge.
And just to give you some examples, we have heat networks alongside electricity and gas networks. And then we will use clean electricity coming from wind to generate gas that then we will use to power our transport.
And from the electricity infrastructure perspective, we are developing more and more complex algorithms and approaches for us to really understand how much we can push, how much we can actually have more renewables and much more interactions between customers and the wider system.
So you're talking about a lot of changes and massive advancements in the environment here that you're talking about. So let's look to the future. How do you see the industry, say, in the next 10 years or so?
10 years, I would say that it will be more and more about providing energy services rather than just electricity. So think of lighting, think of heat, everything we need, not just electricity per se. And we'll produce more and more of this energy locally, for instance, in community energy schemes. So as we said before, the producers and consumers, will just be the same person, and consumers in particular will become a more and more active part of the energy system. So it's incredibly exciting, I would say.
It is exciting indeed. I mean, all these aspects when it comes to the electricity infrastructure means that people will have not only photovoltaics, but batteries, not only electric vehicles, but these elements interacting with the wider system. And all these interactions actually will allow us to really see a management that goes to local communities, to regional and national scale. We are going to see the true smart grids in 10 years.
Well, you've certainly given us a fascinating insight into the future of energy and how it's going to be produced in a more green way. So Nando Ochoa and Pierluigi Mancarella, thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.